Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing okay. I just wanted to give you some examples to help you understand what you're going to be doing for the exercises this week on LMS. So get ready, get a piece of paper out and a pencil, and here we go. Pause me if you need to go get a pencil and a piece of paper, okay? Okay. So something you're going to see on your exercises, they're going to have bar graphs for you, and they're going to ask you questions about the graph. So all you're going to have to do is look at it, okay, and be able to answer it, okay? So this example, number one, see it at the top corner, says this is a graph that's showing the most widely spoken languages. There are 4. There's English, Hindi, Mandarin, and Spanish. If you look at the bottom, speakers, which is in the millions, okay? So it goes from 0 to 200. We're talking 200 million, right? So if you look at all of those, that's what they show, okay? So the first question that you need to answer on your paper is which language has the most native speakers? So which one? English, Hindi, Mandarin, or Spanish. All you have to do is write the word. So I'll give you about 5 seconds to do that. The answer is Mandarin. If you look at the bar graph, Mandarin goes all the way out past 800 million, while the other 3 are still between 2 and 400, okay? So that would be question 1, right? Question 2 for this example is about how many more speakers does Mandarin have than Hindi? So you look at Mandarin, you look at Hindi, and you have to get a rough estimate, okay? So look at those numbers that they both kind of where they fall in the graph. Tell me about roughly how many more Mandarin has than Hindi. The answer is Mandarin has about 500 million more. If you look at Mandarin is past the 800. So I would have put, my rough estimate is saying that Mandarin has about 850 maybe. And that if you look at Hindi, it's between 2 and 400. So I would have put that since it's really close to 400, I would have just rounded up. But you could say, 350, 375, something like that, right? So it's kind of where it looks like it falls, right? So if you took 850 and subtracted 400, you would get 450, right? Okay, or if you took, maybe you said that Mandarin was actually 900, and so you took 900, subtract 400, and you get 500. So your answer should be between 450 and 500 million, okay? Rough estimate, so remember, you're going up to like a whole number. You're not going to have a number that's going to say, oh, it's about 483. Okay, that's like an exact number. You want a rough estimate, right? Rough estimates those usually end in like 5s or 0s, okay? Because it's just easier to count by 5s and 10s and stuff like that, right? Those are rough estimates. Okay, so those are some questions you would have where you have a bar graph and you just have to answer questions on your paper. The second one is this one. Number 2, they just give you a table, okay? That's all they give you is a table. And this table, the one here, just a second. The one here, okay, gives you 3 pieces of information. It says country, male, and female. This table shows you the life expectancies of people in 3 different Central American countries. You have El Salvador, you have Honduras, and you have Nicaragua, right? And it's split up the life expectancy for males in those countries and the life expectancy for females in those countries, okay? So what they want you to do is they want you to create a double bar graph using this information to show, and double bar graph just shows how the information relates to each other. Okay, so it's going to be just like a regular bar graph, but instead of one for each thing, now you're going to have two. That's what double means, okay? So I want you to make a double bar graph, all right? What I want you to do is pause this video, make your double bar graph. Remember, label your parts, okay? So you're going to label countries, you're going to label the numbers, life expectancy. Remember, this is life expectancy, okay? And then make your bar graph. Choose, you just need two colors, right? Male and female, okay? Choose your two colors, make your double bar graph. So pause, go do that. Welcome back. Okay, so now I'm going to check your answer with mine. Ready? This is my answer. Okay. So I labeled it life expectancies in Central America. Okay. I have the bottom, I have the 3 countries, right? Then I also, on the left-hand side, I have ages, because that's the age at the top in that table. That is the age life expectancy in each country for male and female. I also gave it a key, male and female, right? I chose black for male and female for blue. Okay, those are just the 2 colors I had, right? And so I went ahead and I graphed them on my graph, made my double bar graph, and that's basically all you have to do for number 2. You make a double bar graph like this, okay? Everything should be labeled. If it's not, then it is incorrect, okay? Points will be taken off if you don't label. You have to make sure that you label. Okay, number 3. This is just another table. Okay, actually, it's just another table. It's not called anything special. So this is a bigger table than the one you just saw on number 2. This one is showing the number of CDs that students own, okay? So if you look, you see in black, it goes 1 through 20, and in blue, those are tally marks. So the blue is how many students own each thing, right? So the black, like, for 1 CD, there are 3 students who only own 1, okay? For 4 CDs, there are 6 students who only own 4, okay? So that's quite a bit of information, right? So what they're going to ask you to do is create a histogram. A histogram is just like a bar graph you see at the top, right? Except it's not going sideways, it's going up and down, it's vertical, okay? And all it is showing the information of the frequency, which is all the information that you get from this table below, okay? And you might be like, oh, what does a frequency mean? Okay, because that's a word you might not have heard of. It just means you're going to take all of this information, like lots, right? That's a lot. You're going to take all of that and break it down into smaller groups. So the first thing, in order to make a histogram, the first thing is to create a frequency table. Okay, a frequency table is, like I just said, smaller groups showing you the information. So here's what I'm going to do for that. Just a second. So I made a frequency table, okay? So I have the number of CDs at the top, and I have the word frequency because we're talking about frequency, right? So I grouped them into 4 groups. I looked over here and I saw I have numbers 1 through 20, so it makes sense to group them into 4 groups. I'm going to go with 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and 16 through 20, right? So 4 groups of 5, basically. Okay, make it really easy. So how do I find the frequency, you may ask? Because 22, well, that's not a number over here. That's crazy. What I do is, because I'm talking about number of CDs 1 through 5, I look at those tally marks. Okay, I have number 1 has 3, number 2 has 2, number 3 has 5, number 4 has 6, and number 5 has 6. So I'm going to take all of those tally marks and add them together. So 6 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 3 gives me 22. Okay, and you do the same thing for your other 3 groups, right? Do that for 6 through 10. You're going to get the next number, 34. Then 11 through 15, you're going to get 52. And the last one, 16 through 20, you're going to get 35. Okay? So now I've made my frequency table from this. I've taken the table they gave me. I created a frequency table. And now you need to create your histogram, which just is a bar graph. So all you're going to do is all of this information in your frequency table and create your bar graph. Okay? Remember, it's not horizontal. It's vertical, so like the double bar graph we did, except it's not going to be a double bar. Okay, so do that. Go ahead and pause this video and make your graph. Please make sure you remember to label. Okay, if you didn't, do that right now, real quick, hurry. Okay, so after you've labeled, right, this is what your graph should look like. Here, I'll move this so you can see all this better. Okay. So I labeled it, right, CD survey results. You could have put CD numbers or number of CDs or whatever you wanted. It doesn't matter as long as it has to do with what we're talking about in this example, okay? So CD survey results, and on the left-hand side I had the word frequency because that's exactly what was on my frequency table. And I have the words number of CDs because it's exactly what was on my frequency table, okay? So then at the bottom, I numbered it kind of weird, right? That's not how we usually do it. It's 1 through 5, and then 6 through 10, and then 11 through 15, and so on and so forth. Because that's exactly what was in the frequency table. That's what you do with the histogram. It's a frequency, okay? So, and then on the left-hand side, my frequency numbers, I just went up by tens. Okay? So I graphed it just like a regular bar graph. There you go. And that's all you have to do. Okay? All right. Hopefully you understand everything that we just talked about and you don't have any further questions. Okay? If you do, send me a message, right? And I'll try to answer them as best I can. We will meet on Thursday via Zoom to go over your exercise answers, okay? And answer any further questions you have. So if you get something wrong, we can talk about it on there. All right? I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Enjoy. Bye.